car body. Alright, this is the forge that we will be using. It's a propane forge. And it's kind of small. We're only going to be making a 4-inch knife with about a 3.5 inch handle.
This is our blank of steel. It's 5160 steel. It's about 1 foot long, 2 inches wide, and almost a 1/4 inch thick. This is what we're going to be using to forge our knife. It was a recommendation from a man who owns his own forging company. It's called Bloodroot Blades, and he told us that 5160 steel is a really good beginner forging steel because it's very forgiving. So that's what we're going to be using. We're all set to go. We're just going to mark up where we want to cut down our slab and our blank so we'll have a better fit piece to forge, and then we'll be ready to go.
And so we are drawing the rough outline of what we want to do and how we want to cut it.
So what we're about to do is we're about to trim down our blank to a more manageable size piece to put inside the forge, and to do that I'm going to use a 4.5 inch metal cutoff wheel on my angle grinder.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and turn on the forge. And we're just going to let it heat up. Got our metal, it's time to go on the forge. Now I'm working on fixing my mistake. I accidentally tried to carry both sides of the workpiece forward, and it wrapped all around itself, making these little devil's horns on the end. Just trying to straighten that out right now. This is our first attempt at a knife. As you can see, it's gotten a little thin in the spine. And that leaves us with very little material to work with when we start to grind. So we're going to cut ourselves another piece and try to go again. But we're going to use this just to learn how the material works, heat it up, bang it, and see what the best things are going to be, techniques to use. Attempt number 1. So you got the general formation of our blade, and we're now going to be starting the tang. The tang is the part of the blade that will go into the handle, and the way that we'll do that is we'll start to notch a part of the blade and then draw it out to look something like this right here. This part being the tang. Okay, so we've been working on forging our tang, and right now the blade looks sort of like this right here. It has a butter knife formation, and we're going to start working on flattening that blade out and making it level, so when we look down that spine, it's perfectly straight. Here in the forge, safety is paramount. So what we got is we got our safety glasses, earplugs for the loud banging, pants, closed-toed shoes, and some heat-resistant gloves that we wear. Alright, so now that we're done with the forging process, we'll go ahead and grind it down, polish it up, and then once we get that ground, we'll go ahead and put a handle on it.
Okay, so we're heating the blade, getting ready to quench it right now. That's going to freeze the grain structure and make it stronger than it would be right now. We're waiting for that cherry red color, that perfect color in which to quench it. Okay, so for the handle, we've got this oak dowel rod that measures in at 1.25 inches by 3. We're going to take it and cut it in half and cut it the right length, and we're going to use this epoxy to put it onto the blade tang, and we're going to let it set. So what we've done here is we've split our oak dowel rod into 2 pieces, and we use the Dremel tool to carve out a space for our blade tang to go in. And now we've epoxied around using this Gorilla Glue 5-minute epoxy, and we've let it set overnight. Now we have a nice little blade and a handle.
So right now, Blake is finishing the knife, getting some epoxy off the blade, but the knife is looking pretty good. Hey guys, so I've been behind the camera the entire time, but here's our final product. Here's our knife. Forging went really well. It is sharp, it'll cut through paper, and we learned a lot. Really proud of the work we did, and it was just a great project. So forging was a success.